Scientific article on what a racing pigeon's body goes through during a 300-mile race. The physiological demands on racing pigeons during long-distance flights. Pigeon racing is a popular sport in many parts of the world that involves specially bred and trained pigeons flying long distances back to their home loft. Races can range from 100 miles to over 600 miles, placing intense physiological demands on the birds. One of the longest races on record is the South Africa $1 Million Pigeon Race, spanning 543 miles from Johannesburg to Durban. In this article, we'll explore what happens inside a pigeon's body during these extreme endurance flights. Oxygen transport and aerobic metabolism. The key to sustained flight in birds is their respiratory and circulatory system's ability to deliver oxygen to power aerobic metabolism in the flight muscles. Pigeons, like all birds, have a uniquely efficient respiratory system with air sacs that ventilate the lungs on both the inhale and exhale. This allows for nearly continuous oxygen uptake during flight. The cardiovascular system is also specialized for meeting the metabolic demands of flight. Pigeons have proportionally larger hearts and higher blood hemoglobin concentrations compared to similar-sized non-flying birds. The pigeon's heart rate starts around 100 beats per minute at rest but can increase to over 500 during sustained flight. Stroke volume also increases up to 2 to 3 times the resting level. All of these adaptations serve to maximize oxygen delivery to the tissues. The flight muscles preferentially metabolize fat to fuel aerobic respiration. Long chains of fat stored within the muscle fibers break down into fatty acids and glycerol. These undergo beta oxidation and feed into the Krebs cycle to produce ATP. However, glycogen stored in the muscles and glucose from the blood provide additional metabolic fuel. Since pigeons do not eat or drink during long-distance flights, they have to carry all the energy stores needed to power the entire trip within their bodies from the outset. Racing pigeons meticulously managed by their human handlers are fed a high-carbohydrate diet with added fat and protein to super-maximize energy stores before races. Cardiovascular and thermoregulatory challenges. One of the major challenges faced by racing pigeons is dissipating the large amounts of heat generated by muscular exertion during flight. Pigeons maintain a body temperature around 41 degrees Celsius at rest, but this can increase to over 44 degrees during sustained flight. To help dump this excess heat and avoid hyperthermia, pigeons have vascular adaptations that function as radiators. There is a large vascular network under the skin on the ventral surface of the wings. By shunting more blood flow here during flight, heat can be dissipated into the surrounding air. Blood vessels in the legs can also radiate heat if the pigeon extends its feet. Opening the beak tubular flutter aids evaporative cooling. All of these mechanisms are controlled reflexively and via hormones. Maintaining blood pressure is also critical. The rapid heart rate needed to supply well-oxygenated blood to the muscles leads to increased pulse pressure. Constriction of veins helps keep blood from pooling in the periphery and supports return flow to the heart. But sustained exertion can still sometimes overwhelm the pigeon's ability to maintain cardiac output, resulting in fatigue. Musculoskeletal demands. The volume of work required for flapping flight is immense. Even over relatively short races of 100 miles, it's estimated that pigeons need to flap their wings around 1 million times. The primary flight muscles, the pectoralis and supracoracoideus, represent 15 to 25% of total body weight in pigeons. These muscles have a very high ratio of fast oxidative glycolytic fibers with abundant mitochondria that resist fatigue. The tendons in the shoulder and chest are arranged to maximize efficiency in converting muscular force into flapping. Upstroke muscles in the wings pull the bones into favorable orientations. Short bursts of faster flapping help pigeons accelerate and maneuver. The wing feathers must endure tremendous cumulative aerodynamic stresses over the race. Maintaining optimal feather condition and wing symmetry are critical performance factors. The skeletal structure provides anchoring points for all this contractile activity. The light yet rigid bones in the wings serve as effective struts and levers. The keel on the sternum generates additional surface area for pectoral muscle attachment. The painstaking breeding programs of racing pigeon enthusiasts over decades have produced structural morphology specialized for maximizing power and stamina. Navigational demands. In addition to its physiological limits, a racing pigeon must be able to effectively navigate over hundreds of miles to reach the home loft. Pigeons appear to orient using the Earth's magnetic field, the sun, and a keen ability to recognize topographical landmarks. However, the specific sensory basis for their homing abilities remains incompletely understood. On long races, the birds must be able to sustain the correct heading despite fatigue. If weather conditions obscure the sun during the expected homeward leg, the pigeon must still find its way. Nightfall presents another navigational challenge. It is believed pigeons may switch to using star patterns for orientation after sunset. but darkness likely contributes to the greater attrition seen in longer races. The mental stamina to stay on course despite physical exhaustion and potential disorientation is an underappreciated aspect of racing pigeon performance. Handlers use training techniques like circling releases to build this navigational endurance and homing drive in their birds. Immune and metabolic challenges. The extreme physical stress of a long race does not just produce musculoskeletal and cardiovascular effects. Biochemical markers indicate significant metabolic changes and immunologic perturbation. Blood glucose levels tend to drop as onboard energy stores are depleted. Stress hormone levels like corticosterone rise, influencing metabolism. The acute exercise bout is also associated with transient immunosuppression. Circulating leukocytes and antibodies decrease after a race, reflecting both increased demand from damaged tissues and stress-mediated changes. This temporary reduction in immune function could increase infection risks in the period after the race. However, adaptations like having higher basal immunoglobulin levels may help counteract the immunosuppressive effects of exertion. Recovery period. After completing a long race, pigeons require an extensive recovery period. It often takes over a week for all of the physiological parameters altered by the race to return to baseline. Weight loss in particular takes time to replace, as the birds have to rebuild lost fat and muscle mass. Providing high-quality food and rest are critical to getting the pigeons back into condition for training and future racing. The cardiovascular system also needs multiple days to normalize, given the intensity of effort. The immune changes similarly persist over this time frame. Complete recovery allows damaged feathers to be molted and replaced. Only after this lengthy recuperation can a racing pigeon resume its full athletic capabilities. While human endurance athletes can take advantage of various therapies and interventions to aid recovery, pigeons are reliant on the rest and nutrition provided by their handlers. The length of recovery period often limits racing pigeons to about 10 to 15 major races per year. Conclusion. Pigeon racing provides a fascinating case study in avian physiology. The ability of these birds to fly such extreme distances at top speeds results from numerous cardiovascular, respiratory, metabolic, hormonal, and neuromuscular adaptations. But despite our scientific knowledge, the exceptional athleticism and navigation capacity of racing pigeons remains impressive. The demands imposed by 300-mile and longer races push the limits of what nature has made possible for these humble domesticated birds. Yet time and time again, the fittest specimens prove able to overcome the physiological obstacles and find their way home. I'm an experienced ex-pigeon racer from England, and I can offer valuable insights and guidance on all aspects of pigeon racing, from breeding to racing. During my racing days, I managed a small team of no more than 70 pigeons, including stock, young birds, and old birds. It was not uncommon for me to send as few as 6 birds to a race and still secure the top 3 positions out of up to 2,500 pigeons in my club and federation. My race distances typically ranged up to 300 miles, and I consistently achieved top 5 placements in my club. My expertise extends to the art of selecting excellent breeders, including evaluating pigeons based on their eye sign characteristics. I firmly believe that true champions can only be bred from top quality stock, and I can guide you in identifying and acquiring such pigeons. I understand that many pigeons for sale are advertised based on their lineage or pedigree, but I emphasize the importance of assessing the bird itself rather than relying solely on paperwork. As part of my offer, I invite you to share photos of your pigeons, including their eye sign and wing characteristics. I'll provide you with free advice on racing and breeding based on my extensive experience and knowledge. Additionally, I will share auction links to high-quality breeding birds that have the potential to produce winners in your loft. Here's what you can expect to receive from me. A comprehensive Word document containing valuable insights and strategies for successful pigeon racing, including specific racing methods for both old and young birds, as well as general advice. Private YouTube videos sent to your email, covering various aspects of pigeon racing, from breeding to race preparation. Detailed recommendations on supplements and additives to add to your pigeons' drinking water, with scientific evidence supporting their effectiveness. Similar products are used by professional athletes and racehorses to enhance performance. Assurance that your pigeons will race home faster, provided that you have quality birds to begin with. While I can provide guidance, it's essential to start with pigeons of good genetic quality. Guidance on feeding schedules and methods, tailored from Sunday to Saturday, to optimize your pigeon's performance. The understanding that there are no big secrets or magical products that guarantee success in pigeon racing. Instead, success hinges on developing a racing system that suits your loft and pigeons. I'm committed to providing full support even after you receive this information, as I want to see you succeed in pigeon racing. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need further assistance. Remember, the key to winning in pigeon racing lies in knowledge, dedication, and continuous improvement.